Once upon a time, in a lush, green vineyard, there lived a clever but somewhat lazy fox. The day was warm, and the sun shone brightly in the sky. The fox, feeling both thirsty and hungry, wandered through the vineyard in search of something to eat. As he trotted along, his sharp eyes caught sight of a beautiful bunch of grapes hanging high on a vine. The grapes were plump, juicy, and perfectly ripe, shimmering in the sunlight like little gems. The fox's mouth watered at the sight, and he licked his lips in anticipation. Those grapes looked delicious, he thought. They would be perfect to quench my thirst and fill my stomach. Determined to have those grapes, the fox stood on his hind legs and stretched his body as tall as he could. But no matter how much he stretched, the grapes were just out of reach. Undeterred, he decided to take a different approach. The fox took a few steps back, fixed his eyes on the grapes, and ran towards the vine, leaping into the air with all his might. He stretched out his paw, but he missed the grapes by inches. Not one to give up easily, the fox tried again. He ran faster and jumped higher, but still, the grapes remained out of his reach. Again and again, the fox leapt towards the grapes, each time with no success. His jumps became weaker and less enthusiastic as he grew more tired. After several more failed attempts, the fox sat down under the vine, panting heavily and feeling utterly exhausted. As he sat there catching his breath, he looked up at the grapes, which now seemed even higher and more unreachable than before. His frustration turned into anger, and he muttered to himself, "Those grapes are probably sour anyway. Who wants sour grapes? They aren't worth my time or effort." Trying to convince himself that he didn't care about the grapes after all, the fox stood up, brushed off the dirt from his fur, and trotted away from the vineyard with his nose held high. As he walked away, he couldn't help but feel a twinge of disappointment in his heart, but he quickly pushed it aside, telling himself that there would be easier prey to catch elsewhere. Moral of the story: it's easy to despise what you cannot have. Instead of giving up and pretending you didn't want something in the first place, it's better to keep trying or to find another solution. The story of the fox and the grapes teaches us not to give up too easily and to be honest with ourselves about our desires and efforts.